What's up everybody? It's your boy Kabuki and welcome to one of the most requested videos that I have received. And in today's video, I'll be talking about one of the most requested topics. How do I do my loadout for a CQB environment? With over 10 years of me playing Airsoft, I did run into a lot of bad gear. I've had a lot of good gear, so I am here to make this video so you don't make the same mistakes that I do. I just want to say a little shout out to one of my sponsors, Bang. Without them, this video would not be possible. I do love the candy apple flavor. But, I was just kidding. If I was sponsored by Bang, I wouldn't be doing this in my living room. Without further ado, let's get on with the show. Jesus, it's hot in Portland today. It's about like 100 degrees, so I'm like sweating my ass off. But anyways, let's talk about my gear. Let's start from the top and we'll go all the way to the bottom. First things up is headgear. So what I use for headgear. 9 times out of 10 when I play in a Speedqb or indoor environment, I like to be very fast, very light, and very cool. Cool is one of the most important things to me just because I sweat like a freaking pig. So first thing is my dye headband. The reason why I chose this specific gear is because, well, as you can see, this covers the top of your head, but this is also a very nice mesh material which helps you vent out a lot of heat. In addition, the forehead area has terry cloth on the inside, so it's very nice against your skin, but this is also pretty thick. It feels like some kind of double or triple ply material in there, and it does really help protect against the shots on your forehead. And you know, when you get shot in the forehead, you get a freaking welt, and that's gonna stay for a couple days. And people are gonna ask, especially at work or at school, what happened to you? So a good piece of headgear is very important. Now I'll talk about other types of headgear. One of the most popular headgear for indoor environment is the beanie, the Speedqb beanie. Of course, this thing is very popular because it gets the job done. It's very protective when you layer it up twice, so it helps you protect your forehead, and it's relatively cheap and widely available. But this thing is also very warm. It really traps heat on your head, and that's something that I do not like. So that's why I don't wear a beanie, even though it's extremely popular. Another thing that people wear are bandanas or shamas. So these shamas, I'm not sure if I'm even saying it right, but these wraps, basically you can double them up and it can protect your forehead pretty well and cover your face, and you have that sweet insurgency look, which everybody loves. But this also retains a lot of heat, so that's why I don't really wear this. Again, I do recommend the dye headbands or any headband that has reinforced padding up front. These typically go for about 15 to 25 bucks, give or take, depending where you buy it. Another piece of gear that I haven't purchased yet, which I should, is basically a neck guard. When you play in a fast-paced, tight quarters environment, you tend to get shot at very close range, and sometimes you do get it in the neck, and neck shots suck. You get a lot of welts around the area, sometimes you get scarring too, and I've had several neck shots, and I've always considered getting a neck guard, and these last few times that I've played, I definitely should get a neck guard, so that's something on my to-do list that I will probably run later on. You can also wear a shama on your neck too, but it's really hot, so I kind of ditched this. Honestly, if I had to choose between wearing a shama and or head wrap or whatever the hell you call it again, I would rather just go naked on my neck. Now for face protection. I really like my dye i4 mask. I think it's a fantastic piece of gear because it never fogs. Despite how hard I run and how hot the environment is, it never fogs on me. So that's what I really like a lot. I do recommend the dye i5 because they have a quick ratcheting system in the back instead of just the traditional strap, which is easier to take on and take off. And additionally, I believe the mask is about 20 to 30% bigger. In addition to that, they also have I think a camera mount on the side. Of course, it costs a little bit more than a dye i4. I would purchase a dye i5 if you can spare the change. Now onto gloves. What do I usually run? Well, I've been really enjoying these gloves. They're called Pig or Pig Tactical. These are the full dexterity gloves, and these are just amazing. I do like mechanics, but these are my #1 as of now. I'm also running it for a long-term test to see how it wears compared to mechanics. The reason why I like these better is because they have very good dexterity. The insides of the fingers have very little material, and the stitching, I feel, is far more superior than the mechanics gloves. I feel like this is basically a second skin, and it has enough padding for your knuckles, so if you get shot in the knuckles or in the finger area, you can feel it, but it won't hurt as much as if you were to wear no gloves at all. But yeah, these are one of my favorite gloves right now. They're about $30, a little bit more expensive than mechanics, but I think they're worth the extra money for what you get. Another feature that I like too is just the little loops that you have right here, which makes it easier to put on and put off, and it doesn't have that little Velcro thing that the original mechanics has. I do run through mechanics quite a lot, and they do get worn out after maybe 5 or 6 months of continuum play, but we'll see how these fare. But so far, these are my favorite. Another glove that I would recommend is basically the Fast Fit mechanics gloves. As I said before, I really like mechanics. They're cheap, they're widely available at any hardware store. The dexterity is not as good as the Pig Tactical gloves, but I do like the Fast Fit series just because it's easy to take on and take off, especially if you're trying to use a speed loader on your magazines. Sometimes these gloves or the mechanics originals won't give you enough dexterity to load your magazines. But this is my second recommendation, the mechanics Fast Fits. Hey guys, I just had to reshoot this one small section just because the audio is going in and out. Anyways, before I talk about my belt rig here, I want to talk about the philosophy of my gear. Basically, I believe that you should only buy once and cry once. So I look for really good quality gear for the lowest price. I also tend to lean towards more, I guess, real steel gear compared to just the Airsoft specific gear, because not only do I use my rigs for Airsoft, but I also use it for shooting with real steel. So that's why I always end up paying a little bit more for the better quality. Now with that being said, there are certain brands that I do stay away from. As you can see, my gear is not really traditional, not like the Speedqb type of deal, because even though they make pretty decent gear, I feel like it's a little bit more of a marketing gimmick, and you could probably have comparable gear at a lesser price. But as I said before, I do pay a little bit more for real steel gear. So try to figure out what you like, but this is my own personal philosophy. So let's start from the left side and go away around to my right. So on my left side, I carry all my essentials, all my mags for my pistol or my rifle. I don't usually carry both, but I just want to show you for display purposes. When I run my high kappa, I use HSGI taco pistol pouches, because HSGI taco pouches are one of the best gear that you can invest in. These are quite expensive. This triple mag pouch was about $70, but I think it's worth it because each mag that you have for TM, I think they're about like what, 40 or 50 bucks, and if you HPA tap it, that's another like $15. And if you have bad quality gear and these gas mags fall out, you're gonna be breaking and bending them, and it's gonna cost more in the long run. I've used the Fast Mag knockoff pistol pouches, and they're basically a clamshell that is held together by a rubber band almost, or a band of rubber. And those pouches actually made me drop my pistol magazine several times, in which, if you can see right there, I'll probably post a picture later, and I also reference it off in my high kappa video. I dropped this several times, and you can see a slight bend to this magazine. So I ended up getting these HSGI tacos, and it's a great investment. Now moving back, I run a series of mags depending on what rifle system I use. These are the knockoff Fast Mags. I don't recommend them. I would actually go for Tacos or Scorpion G-Code, but these are still functional and useful, and with the rifle mags that are super light, they are fine. But when it comes to gas blowback magazines, for such as my GHK AK, the mags are super heavy and they tend to push forward and kind of weigh down the gear a bit, and I don't trust this Fast Mag knockoff to hold it. But they are okay for now for light magazines. And these are really easy to pull your mag out and reload, or do a tactical reload, and these are also easy to put back in. And then you can see the back over here for my AK mag. Moving backwards, you can see this is a generic dump pouch. I believe it's a Condor dump pouch that's about $12. It's pretty big, and I can accommodate all my mags into the back. Another pouch right here that you can see, this is actually my HPA pouch. This is the RAP4, I believe, RAP4 horizontal paintball pouch, or HPA pouch. So the reason why I went for the RAP4 pouch in the back in comparison to maybe a backpack is because I still want to be super lightweight and don't have anything on my back. This is a lot lighter. The little tank pouch is a lot lighter, and it's still pretty secure. So I feel like the weight savings are well worth it. And this pouch is about $20. I did hear about the Vulcan brand being pretty decent, but I don't really like supporting Vulcan just because of their business practices, and some of their products are kind of crappy. Such as, I have an Inokatsu Thunder Bee in here, and I also bought a Vulcan version, and that Vulcan version broke within, I believe, maybe like 4 or 5 uses. So it's completely crappy, so I don't recommend Vulcan gear. But but for the paintball pouch or the HPA tank pouch, I guess it could be okay. Now last, as I pulled it out, this is actually my grenade pouch, or my general pouch. I usually run the Thunder Bee, Inokatsu Thunder Bee, because I really like clearing rooms, and if you put BBs in there, this can count as a frag, but this is super loud, and it really scares people. When you throw it in and you hear that loud boom, it kind of shocks everyone, and within that split second, when you go into a room, that split second is all you need to have that advantage. So that's why I run the Thunder Bee. I also run a carbiner in the back right here. I'm not sure if you can see it, but basically it's for my pins for my grenades, because you know, if you pull this and you lose it, then you're kind of out of luck, and you need to buy more pins for your grenades. So I just like pulling my pin, putting it back here, and not have to worry about it and pick it up later. Now onto the weapons. What I usually use for a CQB environment. What I usually like running is my high kappa. My high kappa with my TLR1 and my tracer. But anyways, I've done a video about my high kappa, how to upgrade it, and what's particularly inside this high kappa. I'll put a link up in the cards or down in the description below to link my high kappa upgrade video, so you can see what's in here. The second thing that I've been running lately is my HPA SR3M. I don't think I really talked about it too much, but this is my primary as of now. I did several upgrades to it right now. It has a SRM, I believe, SRM Hurricane red line engine inside. It works like a charm. It's all mechanical. It doesn't have any batteries, so I don't have to worry about the little mini FCU or anything like that. The way I configured it is actually pretty new, even to me. I just added a PEC box with a dual run cam made by Brain Exploder. I'm gonna see how that works when I run several games. It has a selfie cam and a CQB cam. In addition, since I run that run cam, I got a riser for my red dot. So this is the Bushnell TRS-25. This is a real steel red dot, but like I said, I like using real steel when I can. I got this for like $25 and it gets the job done, and it's great. It's like about $65 now because of all people panic buying. But I would wait it out, maybe see if you can find a TRS-25. I use it at my Ruger 1022 when I go plinking, and some of my buddies actually use it on their 9mm carbine, so I could say so many good things about this budget red dot. In front, I run a ricochet lens, and I run a side rail that's made by LCT. It's a Xenical replica. It's actually really solid, and I really like the look of it. Up front, I do run a TLR1 HL, you know, to help blind people when you are running and gunning. And on top of that, I also run an Ace Tech Lighter S tracer, and I use this for pretty much all my guns as interchangeable. This is actually from my high kappa, so I use things interchangeably depending how I feel. Now going down to the bottoms. What I like running is basically basketball pants. I really like these basketball pants because it's really cool camel color, and it has a really nice, I guess, fluorescent yellow on the side, which is kind of, I guess, ironic, but I think it looks really cool, especially when it goes with the rest of my gear. Now these are the Nike ones. They go about $25. They're pretty good. You can also go for Under Armour. These are about the same price, but you know, they're basketball pants. You can't go wrong with them. You can choose anything from, you know, like I said, Nike, Under Armour, or you can even go to Walmart and get those generic basketball pants. They just get the job done. Now for underwear, I usually like running compression. The reason why I like running compression is because it feels really good, you know, against the skin. It's actually pretty cooling, and it just looks really cool. That's like the third reason. It looks really cool. You can get any compression shorts. They all kind of are the same. I used to run the Nike Pros. They're a little bit more expensive, but unfortunately, I guess they wear out pretty quick. And you can see a hole right here on my pants after running a couple of times. So I don't really like the Nike ones. Right now I run the Under Armour ones over the Nike ones because they are still good quality, the stitching's good, and I haven't had any problems with it yet. You can also go for Walmart/Russell brand for about $6 to $10. They get the job done too. Going down to my knees, right now I am running the Hatch H-Tac or X-Tac knee pads. As you can see, they are heavily used, and I just keep beating the crap out of them, and they just keep working and working. And I really like that. I actually like this over the dye knee pads. The dye knee pads are about $60. I believe these are about like 20 or 25. And these are hard shell too, so these offer more protection and let you slide easier too. Another one that I run was, I guess this is called Damage Industries or Damage brand slip over knee pads, and honestly I don't recommend them. They were quite expensive too. I believe they were like 40 bucks. They're a little bit cheaper than the dye, so that's why I went for them. They just kept slipping. It's because I wear compression tights that these keep slipping, but I've never had a problem with the X-Tac ones, so yeah. Don't recommend this, but I recommend this. Lastly, let's talk about footwear. Footwear is one of the most important things in Airsoft. The mission or this environment that you play dictates what gear you should bring or purchase. So when I play in an indoor environment, it's usually slick and level. So I don't usually run hiking boots or anything like that. That's usually more for outdoors. But I run the LeBron 12s. You can get them anywhere for about $100 to $200. Depending on where you purchase them. The reason why I like these is because they are really easy and fast to put on. They are Velcroed, as you can see, and it's easy to just slip in, strap it, and you're good to go. In addition, I really like the way it looks, and I really like the camo color that it comes with, but most importantly, I really love the bottoms of these shoes, because as you can see, the bottoms of these shoes have a really tight pattern to them, and we've all been there playing with shoes that have wider ridges. BBs always get stuck in them, and you can always slip and potentially hit things, and they're just not good overall. That's why I run these, just because the pattern's so tight. It's really good for gripping, and it's really good for sprinting and getting those great positions and angles in order to win the game. So I highly recommend these LeBron 12s. There are more or later versions of it, but all of my team runs a variation of LeBrons one way or another. And that concludes my gear from head to toe. If you have any questions or if you have any gear recommendations, please let me know. And who knows, maybe I'll try to run the gear and maybe even do a more specific review on it. If you have any other questions about my gear, you can put it down in the comments section and I can try to answer as best as I can. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if this video helped you out in any way, you know, the usual, please like, sub, share with your friends. And that being said, this is Kabuki, signing out.